Welcome back to another episode of Excuse My Grandma. It's Kim and my co-host.
Grandma Gail.
We are back in New York City, and we've been very, very busy, right, Grandma?
We have been really, really busy. I think we've taken on an awful lot, and this week, since I just arrived back to New York, we've just done so much work that I think I need a vacation again. I have to go back to Florida.
Yeah, by work it means we're making a lot of videos to catch up for lost time.
Well, that's true, but I think we're really now. I think we're finally caught up. It's now almost Friday, and the week is. The first week of May is starting soon, so we can wind down a little bit.
Yeah. Although the allergies have been very, very bad for me here in New York, so I'm ready for things to move on to the next month.
Yeah, but it's not going to happen. You know, you have allergies in any place where the blossoms are going for another at least 3 weeks till almost Memorial Day, especially up north. So it's a mess, and everything has been very breezy. So you get all the pollen is flying around. Everyone's having the same problem. I saw this is one of the worst allergy seasons in years they're having right now. So for whatever reason, it could be because it got warm very quickly and everything started to bud very early, that you're having this situation, and everybody's suffering. Their eyes are tearing, they're coughing, they're sneezing. So it's not COVID, it's just one big allergy that everybody is suffering from.
Well, luckily, we will be escaping New York and going to Italy in just a few days.
I can't even believe what we're doing, Kim, but it should be fun.
Which we haven't posted about on social media yet, but we'll give all of our listeners a little sneak peek of what is to come. So if any of you have seen the movie Book Club with Diane Keaton, Jane Fonda, it has an amazing cast. There's a sequel coming out, and we are going to promote the film with some other influencers and the production company Focus Features who made the film to Rome and Venice.
And we're actually, I think what we're doing is basically the same itinerary that the actresses did in the film, which should be fun. Mm-hmm. And I think they're going to get our slant on things that are a little different perhaps than the actual actors who are professionals in their field. So this should be a hoot. And of course, Lufthansa's flying us over, so that's going to be fun. And I know that all the planes are jammed. I saw that in the paper this morning, that every single flight is busy, which I can't figure out. I'd like to know where everybody's going in the beginning of May. They must all have vacations. We're going for work, but they said every seat on every plane has been taken, unless what I really have a theory that they're just sending over less planes, so that it seems busier. But it really isn't. It's just that they're not flying as many.
I don't know.
I don't know either. This is something that's beyond my control. But the one thing I did find out, JFK is going under major renovation as of this coming Monday, May 1st. Now, for anybody who's ever been on the Van Wyck Expressway in coming back from the airport knows it's been under construction for at least, I'm 80 years old. I think the last 60 years it's been under construction. So now not only is that road under construction, but the airport is going under construction like they did at LaGuardia. So all the ways of getting to the airport are going to be just a disaster. So I think we should leave now, Kim. We need at least 3 days to get to the airport. And they're warning you. It was already on one of the transportation channels that they're saying you must give yourself so much time to get to JFK because it's going to be chaotic. So
yeah, it's going to be a long day.
I think it's going to be a long day, and unfortunately we're going during the early commute time, so that adds an extra thing. But we'll let you all know. You'll see us all. Kim will definitely have Instagram pictures of us flying and landing, hopefully. And
I'll be posting everything. I don't think we've taken a trip without the rest of the family before.
No, we have never done it alone.
Yeah.
So either we're going to kill each
Although
other.
we're not really alone.
Well, we don't. But they're not in our rooms.
Right.
No, there are several other people doing it as well. So it should be fun. It'll be a very interesting experience.
Yeah, I mean, we have to still delve into the itinerary a bit, but there's like a cooking class and a film screening and all of these different things. I don't know what we're packing yet. You kind of started.
Well, I started because I started looking at the weather. And the weather in Rome, actually, the first week in May, is going to be in the like 70, 71.
Yeah,
which is
well, you
very
came
pleasant.
over and we asked Alexa, Amazon
Right.
Alexa, if you
Exactly.
guys, I ask her everything or
I
not.
know Kimberly is now addicted to Alexa. She's her best friend.
Yes, but we were asking Alexa what the weather was going to be.
So if it's 70 and during the day, it'll probably be in the the high 50s at night. So that's cool. That's a sweater. It's sweater weather.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll post a video packing as well. Do you have any travel hacks, like tips, tricks?
Well, I you know that we pack all the time. I don't have any tricks because I'm sure we're going to overpack.
Yeah.
But in this particular trip, because we are filming, we're going to probably have to take several different outfits for each day, or at least 2 or 3. So, I'm trying to do all similar colors. Well, I always wear the same colors anyway at night. So I'm going to take a lot of black, a lot of white, and then put some pink somewhere in the suitcase. But the most important thing is during the day, sneakers. Comfortable, because Rome is all cobblestones. So for me, there's no way I would ever wear anything but a sneaker. And then we're going to Venice. And that's the same thing. I mean,
Well, we were in Venice last summer, so I know what to expect. Rome, I haven't been in a very long time.
Well, Rome is a beautiful city, but we're going to do the tourist route in Rome.
Which I love being a tourist.
Me too. And that's probably one of the most... Paris and Rome are probably... 2 of the most beautiful cities to take tours on, because it's so historic, and you see all the fabulous sights, the Colosseum. You can't believe things like this are still standing thousands of years later. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And we're staying in a small little hotel on somewhere downtown Rome, which I've never been to, and I'm sure that'll be fun too. So the only thing I have to worry about, and I was thinking about this today, since we did this for a Mother's Day a gift for QVC, we did a magnifying mirror, because I literally, in some of the little boutique hotels, the mirror is much too far away from me. So I'm debating, I think I'm going to have to pack like a little folding
maybe
mirror.
not. I love the QVC mirror, but that's like for the home. That is not a travel mirror.
Right. But I'm going to have to I do have one that collapses, and I'm going to have to put it in the suitcase, because I really, if the mirror is too far away in the bathroom, I can't see anything.
Yeah.
So, and I know that those trendy hotels are not made for 80-year-olds.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess maybe bring it just in case.
That's what I figured.
But any of you listening, if you have recommendations for spots in either city, please let us know. We'd love to hear.
We need one restaurant in Rome.
Yes.
One restaurant that somebody thought was their best one that they loved.
Yeah. I just had such a weird deja vu. I don't know why. Like sitting here and having this conversation. But do you ever get deja vus?
No.
Oh. Okay.
What were you thinking about?
About looking at my computer talking about Rome. But we've never done this, so I don't know why I would have a deja vu.
Okay.
Weird. I don't know. Weird headspace. Okay. Anyway, excited for the trip, and we will keep you guys updated. Let's talk about some of our videos we've posted in the last week. I recreated one of your outfits when you were dropping off Uncle Jeff at camp. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. People said we look like twins.
Yeah, well, you know what? When my hair was darker and longer,
It wasn't that dark though, but it was long. Yeah. Yeah.
It was never as light as it is now, because I went blonde much later on in my life. But I had similar color to you, so maybe a tad lighter, and I had long hair, so we have similar features. And, when you put the clothes on, they're the same colors and the same pants and the same accessories, you tend to look alike.
True. What about the video where we were rating dating icks? Remember we did one where you said if a guy or a girl isn't able to use cutlery normally as a grown-up, that's just ridiculous. Like that's...
Well, unless they're in India.
Okay, but like full fist using a fork, like not
No.
knowing how to use a
Well,
fork.
I think that's etiquette, and I think that has to be taught early on. I think by the time you're 5 years old or 6, when you have a family dinner, the mother or the father has to teach children how to hold a knife and fork. It's not that easy. You have to have it in the proper way, and for the child to be able to saw.
There are some guys that like hold it weird. I've noticed. I don't know.
Because they probably weren't taught the proper way.
Maybe.
So it goes back to Pretty Woman. Remember that scene where he teaches her how to
I need to
the...
take one of those classes.
Oh, please.
No, not because that was like very fancy dinners, like knowing the soup spoon, the little fork,
from the outside in.
Right.
That's the way it goes when you're having we don't go to too many formal dinners.
No.
So I don't think anybody does anymore. We did, that was the interesting thing we were talking about this winter down in Florida. Nobody really gets dressed fancy anymore. There's no reason to buy. I looked in my closet because I had to go to a museum function about 2 weeks ago, and I really looked at. I had no dresses that really were new. They were like 7 or 8 years old because I haven't purchased anything like that because I find mostly people are dressing casually. They're dressing down. They're wearing pants and shirts and sweaters and little jackets that are not, really ultra fancy. And our lifestyle since COVID is really, become much more informal, especially even if you go to work in an office where they're not, most times they don't wear a tie, and many times, unless they're going to a meeting, they don't wear a jacket. So it really has changed our lives and how we dress and everything. And of course, going into the stores, I sometimes look at some of the clothes and I say, where am I going to wear these things? Unless you have a special occasion, if you have a wedding or a birthday party that is going to be very dressy, you tend to just, wear something that's pretty and nice and not really that flashy. Except for that one wedding thing you showed me, the
Sofia Richie's wedding.
Exactly. Of course, and that everything looked beautiful.
Yeah, well, that's a good segue to our headlines of the week. Grandma Gail, I'll go first because mine are kind of the lighter ones. I was going to talk about Sofia Richie's wedding in Hotel du Cap. She took over the whole hotel in the south of France. And now, so basically for those who don't know, it's Lionel Richie's daughter. She used to date Scott Disick, who was with the Kardashians. Now she's dating a music executive who's kind of like like a normal guy. And I think now it's kind of gonna change what all of the influencers and stuff are wearing into this almost like old money chic look that people are calling it.
But for most people, I would say 99.9% of the people who are listening to us or reading a magazine, our lives would never have this kind of glamour. It's just not realistic. These are people who make their living being in the public eye. They're very, very comfortable. I think that it is a rarefied event. And when you're planning your wedding, don't think about these things. Think about the beautiful, and not the occasion itself, and what the meaning is of two people getting together to be one couple and joining. And it is wonderful to have a beautiful setting, and it could be on a lake, it could be in a hotel, it could be in a church, it could be in a synagogue, it could be out in the back lawn. These type of extravaganzas that we read about or that we see on TikTok or whatever are really for the 1%. And the other 99% don't ever live like this, and there's nothing wrong with it. But we really must tamper down our expectations of what an event should be. I mean, I'm very much against everybody thinking, oh my gosh, I can have a wedding like this. First of all, nobody can have a wedding like this unless you have a billionaire father or a husband that can afford this, or that you can afford this. So that's the most thing. So I want to just say to our audience, we love it. We like to look at the glamour. We love to look at the outfits, and we're very excited for the couple. But we shouldn't project our own lives into being able to do this, because it's really not a real kind of existence.
Well, I agree and I disagree. I think there needs to be an aspirational figure when we're looking at celebrities and things. I don't think I'm looking at this being like, oh yeah, Paris Hilton's at her wedding, she's going to be at my wedding too. No, they're related, right? Like I know that Paris Hilton's not going to be at my wedding. I know it's not going to be with all of these celebrities. I think you can have super classic style. It doesn't have to be designer. And we're just talking about an aesthetic here. I'm not talking about actually being old money rich.
I think what people, when they hear this kind of comments that these girls throw out and talk about on these on social media, they sort of get envious, and that really it's not reality. It's like when everybody, I was talking to you about this before. Everybody a year or 2 years ago had to have a big butt. They were injecting things in their butts, and they had to have this look and that look. Now all of a sudden they've come out, no more butts. They're taking all the stuff out. So, this is not for real people. This is for people who make a living going out and showing off in certain ways that they want to have copied because that makes them famous. But really, most people live in a very nice life without having to emulate these kind of trends. I do think you're right. Classic
I don't think trends have to do with money, though. I think to say, oh, you're not living an extravagant life, so you can't dress cool or the way you want.
Dress cool, but I think you shouldn't project that this is the way a wedding should be. This is not the way a wedding should be. This is really this is made up, just like the rom-coms are made up. This is not reality.
So I think this is coming back to the major difference between us that we talk about all the time, the daydreamer in me and the logic in you.
Probably, Kim.
I think I see these things, and I am a smart person. I don't think I'm saying like, oh my gosh, every wedding is a princess, but it's fun to like dream about it, and right?
No.
Like I think it is.
Okay.
I think we're gonna agree to disagree.
Good luck to your dreaming.
Why don't you do your Grandma Gail's headlines of the week?
Well, the headlines of the week, of course, is that President Biden is running again. So whether he's running or walking or in the basement, we're not sure where he is, but he's certainly the Democratic candidate. There's nobody that's going to challenge him. And on the Republican side, we have no idea. We have a lot of would-bes that would like to be in there. So that was one headline. And of course, China's always present in the news today. They're all over the place. They seem to be trying to make peace in Ukraine. I don't know what they're doing and what they're suggesting, but if they can do it, it's wonderful. I doubt it. And of course, the other thing that bothers me that we haven't spoken about in a couple of weeks is that the Wall Street Journal reporter, Evan, has still not been actually not done anything. They haven't moved at all on him, and he's sort of not been in the headlines recently, and I wish the Journal would put news back in there about it and put more pressure on the administration to make things happen, and nobody who ends up in a Russian jail for very long can survive. So I'm hoping that it will come to a good outcome sooner rather than later. And other than that, Kim, there's not much to talk about that we haven't talked about before. They're doing the budget in Washington. That's always a disaster. And I think very similar to what they're doing in Washington, and I was going to say this since it's tax season is over and all that kind of stuff is behind us, people have to really be aware of their finances in the year to come, because I think we are going to go into a mild recession, hopefully a mild one, not a serious one. And I think people have to be able to save a certain amount for a rainy day, make sure they're covered. If they lose their job, which many corporations, unfortunately, now have to lay off workers. I know Bed Bath & Beyond just closed, and so many others are going into bankruptcy because of high costs, and they can't do it and make a profit. So I think we have to be a little careful about our finances and, really start studying. And it's never too early. Actually, I think as a youngster, even by the time you're 7, 8 years old, parents should give children an allowance that they can, work with, and they know that they can buy a treat with it, whether it's 50 cents, $1, $2, and they should have to save out of that to buy a present for their brother or sister, or for their mom or their dad. Things have to be taught. Nobody really is born savvy in finance, but they learn it, and they emulate people in their families who they think are doing the right thing. And we have to show young people how really to live in this very crazy world, because now you've got robots doing almost everything, and we've got to worry that jobs are going to be fewer and much more technical. I think, that's going to be the big thing in the future, and we can't deny it. And our education has to teach children and young people how to live in this new century, and with all the technology that is coming upon us very, very quickly. Actually.
Yeah, and that reminds me, this is something I've been thinking a lot about recently that Grandma Gail, you have kind of pushed me to think about, is that, like, I don't know, in my early 20s, I was just kind of, okay, I'm in my first job, I'm making money, whatever, and it was going into my bank account. But now I'm thinking like, oh, I should have like a financial plan and a strategy going forward in my life, and like investing and doing all of these things with the money that I make. And I think
everybody has to do that on every level.
Yeah, but I just like haven't, and I think now is a great time to really get on top of that. For
good advice for everyone.
Yeah. Let's go on to our dating topic of the week based off of Rule 22. Get up and go out. You'll sleep when you're dead. You say you'll sleep when you're dead all the time. Whenever
we're
I
joking
say I'm
about
tired.
that, of course.
Yeah, obviously. I feel like at least this spring, dating in New York City, super active. I mean, it is every spring. People come out of the woodworks, and people want to do things on the they want to do things on the weekend. They're asking you out. How do you motivate yourself to go out and meet people? For one, if you're kind of like an introvert or get tired easily, or don't want to say yes to everybody, or if you don't like the late night bar scene kind of thing, like how do you motivate yourself to be social?
Well, Kim, that I don't know, because everybody's got different circumstances of how they want to live their social life. However, I think what young people today, since they're so busy during the week with their careers or with their job of whatever sort it is, need to they have to prioritize, and they have to say, listen, I also need a social life. I also would like to find a partner who I enjoy doing things with. And I think over dating at a certain point is no good either. I think when you're starting out, all these apps are exciting, and all these multiple dates are great. But at some point, if you're really not interested in dating anyone in particular, maybe you should just take a hiatus and not date anybody.
No. I don't agree with that. I hate when people say take a break. What do you mean take a break? If someone asks you out, you're going to say no?
No, I think you go out, but the thing is, it's not. You can't be a serial dater. I don't think.
But this is where the it gets confusing, because like I agree. Like I think you would get burnout if you keep.
Well, that's what happens.
But I'm saying, like, and this happens to me all the time, and I've kind of spoke to this of, if someone asks me on a first date through a setup, through whatever, like, I'm not going to say no if I don't have a reason. But let's say I already have 4 dates this week.
Then you have to push it.
But now I'm serial dating, and now I'm saying I'm booked out for the next month.
Yeah,
and
but that's no good.
But then how do you avoid that?
I think what you have to do is you have to say to the person that calls, the fifth person that calls, say, listen, let's push it to next week. I am inundated with work.
But you're still serial dating is what I'm saying.
Well, you are. But eventually, one person's going to stand out, and that you're going to like and enjoy spending time with. And then I think you have to drop the others for a while. I think if you find somebody that you like or that you feel is interesting, you should not date 4 other people the same week. You have to give somebody enough time to go out with them a few times consecutively, because otherwise you're just randomly dating, and it makes no sense to me. But everybody has a different style. To me, dating serves a purpose, to get a partner in life, not just to go out for dinner or not just to walk in the park. So if that's not, that's my advice is.
But if it's Okay, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say if that's the goal, which is also my goal, then you better make the right decision. So then I don't think it's
guarantee,
like I know, but I'm saying, but then it's like if you're going on dates, it shouldn't be like, okay, this one's halfway decent, so I'm gonna pick them. Like I feel like you should date until you're certain that that's a good fit.
Well, I think you should date, but you don't have to have 4 dates in 1 week.
Yeah, there's a middle ground.
There's
what we're saying.
there has to be, you can't go crazy because then you get confused. To
Yes.
tell you the truth, you don't even know what you're doing.
Yeah, or like
it's
yeah.
overwhelming, and also for the guy, it's not fair for the guy. It's not fair for the girl. I think it's really you got to sort of spread it out. And if you see 2 people that you find are interesting and you like spending time with them, fine. You can't have 5 people in 5 days is.
But
just
you can
too many.
have 4, right?
Not me.
Oh, okay.
I think it's too much.
50s movie of the week. I'm thinking we do Gigi Goes to Rome.
Oh yeah, that's good. Since
We'll
we're
be in
going.
Italy. I used to love the Gigi movies, also 50s and early
Everybody
60s.
loves them.
That got me hooked on like that era of movies because it's like cute, easy. She goes to a bunch of different places. I mean, Gigi goes to Hawaii. She goes to Rome. She goes
All
everywhere.
over the place.
She went all over the place. And she's small like us. Okay. Another great episode of Excuse My Grandma. Rate us 5 stars wherever you're listening. If you don't already follow us on social media, we're Excuse My Grandma, so look that up on Instagram and TikTok. We'll see you next week.